Hi, everyone. Margaret Brown, CEO and founder of Socialize LA, here with Michele Skina. And we are so excited to be with you for our second week in a row. Last week, we were on just discussing business and the state of the world, and specifically business finances, because that is what Michele knows inside and out. She is she's just the go-to. And so we had some questions that came up. And so rather than putting them in a blog or typing them into a comment box, we thought we would do this again and have some fun. Hi, Michele.
Hi, Margaret. With stay at home, I'm here by myself. Give me one moment, just one moment.
Okay, so while she's doing whatever she needs to do, just want to greet everyone. Hello, happy Thursday, right? I mean, I know I'm not the only one who forgets what day of the week it is. It's Thursday, and it's a great day to just be productive. I've been pretty productive this week. I know it comes in waves. Sometimes I just, you just don't feel like doing anything. I know that I'm not alone there. We're all home. We're in the comfort of our own home, so we have to pull ourselves out and get to work, and then we have to try and pull ourselves away to enjoy our house and relax. So we have so many things that we are doing right now. So here in California, we are in what they're calling the phase 2 of reopening. So there's been some movement in what we're allowed to do. So that's been really nice. And just looking forward to just moving forward. I'm ready to move forward, however, as in a safe way, but definitely ready to move forward. So, hi, Michele.
Hi, sorry about that, everyone.
Hey.
With this stay at home, I had to answer the door and at the office because as a CPA, I'm able to be in the office even though our team is working remotely. And so currently, I am the one answering the door right now. So I may have to pop out for the mail because, as business owners, the checks come through the mail and every dollar counts these days.
That's right. So, okay, I'm glad you brought up dollars because I had some questions just looking back on our last call, on our last live. And I mean, as a business owner during COVID, I definitely have been cautious about how I've been spending. Luckily, my clients are still moving forward, and we have not had any major cancellations or abrupt cancellations, anything like that of service. There have been some postponements, Michele, in my business, so I chose to not do an open enrollment to our Flex Your Influence membership because I just thought it wasn't a good time to ask people to join something when they're not even sure what's happening in the world. Right. So, which is the revenue generator. So that was and that's something that I had planned on in 2020 was that in March, this amount of revenue would come in. So I had to be a little flexible there. So I just want to ask you, if you don't mind just sharing with us, there is some uncertainty, right, in the future. And how does someone begin to plan when they're unsure? Am I saying that right?
I think so. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You are saying it right. And that's a great question, Margaret. And we get that question often, or not only that question, but sometimes we get, I hesitate to plan because I'm just starting my business. So for example, too. So this conversation sort of goes to those types of questions. And, I was also doing a business financial plan earlier this week, and I had some of those same challenges. I was doing it for a client, and, I just, the first thing I say to people is just start. So, in our program as well, right? It's not only about the expense side of things, but it's about planning that revenue that you're speaking of. And so, there's great, you just start. And what that means is even if you haven't already, plan out revenue by month with what you thought might happen before COVID. Just plan thinking that there isn't COVID or there isn't some uncertainty right now. Plan as if you were planning a new year starting July 1, like it was January 1 of 2021, but it's July 1, 2020. And if you have a business, you look at last year's revenues by month and you write it down. You just get started with what you know. Now, that's easy for me to say, right? Because some people might not even know because, like I said, they might be a new business, and they still have that whole thought process in the back of their mind, like there's this uncertain time, and it's okay. Like, we're going to get to that, but you just sort of, this is where dreaming comes in. And it's like, if there wasn't COVID going on in our lives right now, or if I had started a business last year, where would I want to be today? How much money would I want to be making? How much money do I need to make? And, a great place to start in that conversation is with how much money you need to make. Like, that's your first great indicator of what your revenue needs to be. How much money do I need to make for myself and my employees from this business starting July 1? I hope that answers.
No, that's great. I mean, it's just, you have to get started. You can't be waiting for that perfect moment.
No, there's not a perfect moment. And, I've been talking about money a lot with people lately, and we've been heavily involved in supporting our clients with the PPP application process, for some businesses. And I've also been talking to my personal trainer clients, right, who aren't generating a lot, if any, revenue right now because they're not working because of the stay-at-home order, right? But those clients of mine have to really be creative right now, So, think about a personal trainer who, is feeding their family that can't right now, that may be trying to figure out if they should go on unemployment, for example, right? There's going to be an end to this. We don't know when it is. To your point, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's going to be an end to it. We don't exactly know when that end is going to be, and we don't necessarily have an idea of how the economy is going to bounce back. But we should not, what's the word I'm looking for? Or I shouldn't say should not. What I'll say is, I recommend we don't hesitate to work on our finances because of that uncertainty.
Yes.
I'd recommend instead to take that time and sit down and say, okay, so if it were up to me, how would I like my business revenue to be generated? How much would I like on a monthly basis? Where would I like that revenue to come from? What kind of client am I looking for, or set of clients? And start asking those questions, and then write down the answers. And then with that is going to help us really then begin to get into even some of the numbers.
I love that. And again, you and I have had so many conversations about how marketing and finances overlap, not only for the planning of it, the planning of, the spending that happens in marketing and the return on the investment, but also thinking about this in terms of like marketing to bring in revenue. So I've been on webinars, like I've never spoke more in my life now because of, being able to do it from right here. And yesterday I was just talking to an awesome group of business owners, you know, they were dentists, machinists, like they were from all over across the board. And some of them said, well, no one's spending money right now, or, you know, right now we can't even have people in our office. And I pleaded with them to not retreat, to keep their marketing moving, because once we're open, you don't want to have to do this heavy lifting, you know, out of nowhere. You want to already be pushing it. So it's the same thing. I would say on what Michelle's saying is to plan for those revenue hikes, you know, like, or, you know, do a special, or have a, you know, back in business special, or something that you can start planning. And you can say, I plan, thinking about your personal trainer or your gym client, saying, okay, I want to sign on 20 new members in the first week of July. And it's not just in your head, but you have a plan on how you're going to do it.
Right. And you want that plan on paper, right? This is what we talk about constantly, right? Like,
yes,
you know, even before we have, you know, I plan to speak, like, even though we're, you know, this is a time when we're connecting live here on Facebook, and, you know, it's free, it's really open, we're present with each other, and you're just asking questions of me. I still want to have sort of an idea of what I want to share with you and others. That's really important right now, because it's our time. This is a time where we can focus. We have a great opportunity to focus. Think about it, you know, as business owners and professionals in the workplace, you know, often when we're in our norm, we could be running from place to place, event to event. From, like, today, for example, I'm not running anywhere, but I don't have any free time this afternoon. It's booked solid. And I'm grateful for that, right? But back when we're in the norm, we're running and running and running. Sometimes it could seem endlessly. Now we have this great ability to focus. And we can spend a few hours a day just focusing. Like, what would we want our business to be like? Where would we want to build our wealth? Where do we want to build our wealth? Not where would we want, but ask ourselves these questions. Where do we want to build our wealth? And how do we want to build our wealth? And how do we want, like I said, that revenue to look when we do open up? Because we will open up. That's going to happen. And so if we can set some time aside and focus on the answers to those questions, financial excellence we're starting that conversation for ourselves about financial excellence.
Yes. Okay. Something you had said not too long ago. Okay. So one thing about Michele is that Michele has her finger on the pulse, not just of clients who they're organized. They, you know, how are we building our wealth? How are we, like, you can speak, you're helping them. You're helping them build that. But also what you have the capability of doing is helping that business owner or that person who's just like, I don't know what the heck to do. I'm so afraid to even start this process because I'm unorganized. I don't even know what my financials were last year because I'm so unorganized. What do you say to someone like that? Because I know that they're out there, because we both know that people start their businesses because they have this amazing skill or an idea, and they're awesome at what they do, but putting together that back end of the business is sometimes a challenge.
It sometimes is a challenge. It often is a challenge. And we say, you know, I will go back to what I said earlier as well. And we say, just start. You know, not starting your financial plan because you're just starting in business, or there's this historic event happening, or not starting your financial plan because you're not organized. In my mind, and in what I share when I do live financial coaching programs, is they're just thoughts that cause resistance, right? And so what you resist persists, right? So if we think about how we ran our businesses or our financial lives before COVID, right? Like if we just for a moment thought to ourselves, what was I like before COVID? And you weren't organized, let's say, for example, that's not going to get necessarily any better during COVID, just thinking about it.
No.
Yeah, actually take yeah, right. You actually have to take this step. This thought, this thing, this phrase I hear all the time, and you've probably heard it before. Doing the same thing over and over again leads to the same result.
Yeah, expecting something different.
Yeah, expecting something different leads to the same result. You have to do something completely outside of your comfort zone. And when you actually take a step outside of your comfort zone, which could be, taking a step to plan your finances, even though you're not organized, will actually help you to get organized or be organized. One of the things that, Margaret, I do this often as well. We might be talking about something and then this light bulb just comes up in the conversation that I want to share. I'm excited. I'm like a little sometimes, right? My friend Emmy Kirshner, she's a business owner here in Philadelphia. I saw a Facebook Live that she did yesterday, a very small Facebook Live, and she said she's been talking to people, business owners and other professionals, since COVID, and she's been hearing this theme, like, I don't need to, from people saying, well, I don't need to make a lot of money. And she has offered a suggestion like, well, stop saying that, because you don't necessarily know. I'm paraphrasing. So Emmy, if you're watching this, please, you can type what you actually said in the chat. But she, was saying like, you do like, but you're the same friends and professionals and clients of mine that want to give back to charity someday, or you want to do something really cool in the future, right? Well, by saying that you don't need to make a lot of money, that's sort of counterproductive to really what you want to do. And if during this time, as I said just a few moments ago, you actually took the time to focus, to really think to yourself, what do I really want to do 1, 3, and 5 years from now, right? Doing that during this time can actually help you cultivate a little piece of that financial plan that is necessary for you to actually get there 1 to 3 to 5 years from now. Listen, planning is uncertain. As we started this conversation, we don't know if next month for some of our businesses we're actually going to make a dime, and that is really scary. I'm not taking away the concern that is out there. I'm not belittling it, because it's real. But what, many of us, you and me, Margaret, and others that we know, also we're still here, through other financial challenges that have existed, right? And so if you could just at least remember back then to some of the actions that we took when those financial challenges existed, we can build from that and make our finances even stronger today and after COVID.
Yes.
Yes.
I really love that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So your financial excellence system, which you're seeing it on, like, scrolling down at the bottom, financialexcellencesystem.com. I don't want to give anything away, but I also, if you don't mind, I'd like to share just a part of one of the exercises that's in your course, because I have taken it. again, last week I shared that, Michele, it's not just about like, okay, here's your Excel spreadsheet, because you do get that. In this course, you are receiving the tools that you need. But what's so important, even above the tools, because you could be given a whole room full of tools, but if your head's not right, if your head is not ready, then you're just not going to be ready. And one of the exercises very early on in the curriculum, she just asks you to be very honest with yourself and say, why is this course on business financial excellence important to you at this time in your life? And all of us have a different answer to that. All of us have a reason why we do what we do. If we live in the United States, it's probably pretty important that we are earning an income to live and to have the life that we want, and to be able to help when we can, to do all these things. And so that question to me was just so on point. And throughout the course, you are guided with these questions. And then right after you're asked this question, then you're given an activity to do. So that way you're in the right mindset to go in and look at your finance, to look at what you're doing next, or, so on and so forth. Another question, Michele, that came through from our last call was, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but basically our viewer wanted to know, you've kind of already answered the question of what do we do if we just don't know where to start? But what if they've tried before and stopped? Like they've tried to organize things and they've stopped. And I'm assuming this person, who will have to remain anonymous, didn't really have any help. It was like piecemealing, maybe getting like a template off the internet. So if you can just speak to the start and the stop.
Sure. So that's great. So, and the course, this course helps maintain consistency, right? Like, getting something off the internet and then not having what's next. This helps to maintain consistency. So like you have something to do next, right? After you do that one activity. But what I recommend is you just keep moving through it, right? So, the course, in our course, we recommend that you buy a journal, or you start, document journaling online, right? Not online, like just journaling on your computer or somewhere, right? Writing it down. I can't stress enough that writing it down is so important. Writing down your thoughts, putting together your plan, written, etc. That's a theme of the course. But in that instance, being unorganized and getting to a certain point and then stopping, again, that's another level of resistance, right?
Yes.
And I think I saw somebody write in the chat, what you resist, persist. And that's so true. So instead of stopping right there, you just make yourself a little note. I don't have these things. And so therefore, you make yourself that note and you move on. You go to the next exercise or the next activity, or you write down at that moment, like you stop and you think to yourself, what am I resisting right now? And write it down, and then you thank yourself for writing it down, and then you move forward.
Awesome. And on that, I have two things. First of all, Sandy in the comments just said that, yes, like the course that you're buying, you can just do it over and over again. And I feel kind of weird, like we're on like QVC, like selling a course. But the thing is that this is a real issue. Your financials are a huge part of your life and business, whether you're in business or you're an individual. And this is going to take me to my next question. But what you have here, like Michele has put together something that is very special, very impactful. And Sandy is saying, you don't just do it once, but you can do it every year. You budget every year, you plan every year, and you just keep doing it. And every year you'll get better. But my question is, what if we don't do anything? Like, what's the cost if we just continue to stay in the it's too hard, I don't have any time, I don't want to deal with it. Like, what is that cost to a person or a business, Michele, if we never if we never address the issue? Not attack.
The first thing that comes up when you ask that question is another question in my mind, right? And I think I'll first answer that question as, what is the cost to us if we don't plan? Like, if we don't plan, well, it's sort of asking you the same question, but businesses existed, you're right, before the conversation that we're having today, and people are doing good work, and they may be growing, or they may be operating at a steady pace, but there is a disconnect. The only bad thing, I guess I'll say, is that you won't, there's an opportunity not to grow as fast as you'd be able to by focusing on your finances. And the more that you focus on your finances, the more you improve your cash flow, so that when challenges occur, like a pandemic, you're ready for it, or more ready than you were before this one happened. Yeah. And so the cost is really, it's individual, right? It's individualistic to each and every one of us as individuals and business owners. But I would flip-flop it and say, we live in this world to, have a great time, to enjoy life, and to work either in a professional setting or run our own business and build the lives of others up in our business. And, just because of, we have those things, why not do them at a greater level than we're doing them right now, to be even wealthier or better off than we are now, to live really great lives? That's how I answer that question. Or like that. Just build it and be better at it. I mean, I would say each and every one of us here, we do a great job building others up. Why not take some time and build ourselves up in a faster, more direct way by focusing on our finances?
I love that. I love that. I know that since I took the course and was able to just take a deeper dive into how I'm spending, how I'm saving, how I'm earning, I have felt better. I have felt like more free. I have felt just able to accomplish more. I almost, dare I say it, I just felt more legitimate as a business owner, knowing all of these things. And so I really appreciate that. So,
hey, can I ask you a question about that, Margaret?
Yeah.
And that thought that you just had there. I mean, could you say that by doing the work, it sounds to me like you experienced a mindset shift by focusing more on your finances. But would you say that today financial goals intimidate you less than they did 2 years ago?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right.
I mean, in my house, the minute my husband says the word tax, I mean, this is very transparent, but I hope it helps someone. The minute he says taxes, it used to I just would crumble. Like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. But now I've grown, and it's like, oh yeah, well, all my taxes are paid quarterly. I know how much money I'm planning on making, so I know what my estimate is. Like, it just feels so good. It's changed. I mean, it really has changed my business, the way I operate. I'm not living in fear. Why? Because I know how much I need to make per month, but I also have created a, like a savings. So I'm not moving month to month. So if $1 did not come in a given month, I have now planned in case that had happened. That's why I'm not so worried right now. I was able to push back a launch. I was able to do that because I planned if the worst case scenario happened, which it did.
Right.
And again,
Right.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm just saying it's because it's not funny. It can still be scary, even if you do know, even if you do have a plan.
Right. Right. If anybody just joined us, we don't take that lightly. Just FYI, if you know the two of us, we do not take that lightly.
No, we really don't. And I laugh only because, I mean, humor and joy are really the only ways I can get through times like this.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but yes, there was a huge mindset shift. And I also, because we only have a few more minutes, Michele, I just wanted to talk about the course again. And this is not a brand new course. Michele,
yeah, I'm afraid to now. I don't want to sell the course, but go ahead. Like you said, this isn't QVC. I mean, I want people to take our course. Don't get me wrong.
I know, but it's just so much bigger. Hopefully, even if you're not ready to take the course, that you got some nuggets just from this one-on-one.
Exactly.
But Michele has taught this course for a few years now in a group setting, and it's $4,000 in the group setting. Am I right? Approximately. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And so
one of the courses, yes.
One of the courses. And so that's a group setting. But what Michele did was she brought the course online so it's attainable for, for anyone. And it doesn't have to be done in a group, but the content is still there. So this course, you're going to receive $150 off with the code SPRING, and all registrants up to the first 51 this month are going to receive another bonus, and that is going to be group calls with Michele. And these will not be included moving forward. So you'll be able to ask questions, and I'm actually helping Michele to facilitate her online course. So we're going to make sure that there's a lot of value there. And so you're not going to walk away with questions. You're not going to leave with questions. You're going to have your questions answered. This is not just another course. This is something that's going to impact you, and you are going to have structure and have a lot of guidance too.
It's a foundation, Margaret. We created our work here because we love what we do at our company. I love what I do. I love training and developing other individuals and business owners to build their wealth. And, building your wealth starts with a really solid foundation, right? I mean, you wouldn't buy a house that was on a rocky foundation for fear that something bad could happen or the house could, crumble, I guess. You'd want to get it fixed first. Right. So in building your financial future, you want to build it on a really solid foundation. And we are excited to share the opportunity to create that foundation with respect to someone's finances on their own through the access of our work through this course.
Yes. So again, it's financialexcellencesystem.com, and the code is SPRING. And if you have any questions, you can always message TMS right here on Facebook. If you have a question, you want me to get it to them, send it to me. If you know how to get in touch with me, no problem. I'll connect you with all the players. And I think that's it. Michele, is there any?
I think so for today. I hope we answered some questions or conveyed some important elements about, financial success moving forward.
Yes. And I have to read this one comment from Sandy. She said, Michele Skina is never happier than when she helps someone else succeed. It's such a fabulous quality. And I second that. So people know that's the rep.
Thank you so much.
All
I
right.
really have had a great time being with you, Margaret. I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah, we will for sure do this again. This is like my new norm now, is just doing these from my office constantly.
Yeah, no, I just thought of a new idea. I'm going to have to share it with you later.
Okay, good. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you tuning in.
Yes,
And
thank you. Thanks, Margaret.
we will talk to you soon.
Adore you. Bye.